Hi, and welcome to the Baru. I'm Charlotte Bain. My guest today is not a scientist or a trainer or a veterinarian. She's someone who loves dogs the way most of us love dogs, completely, specifically, and without reservation. She's also my hairstylist, and I hope I can call her a friend. Jen has shared her life with dogs for as long as she can remember, from growing up the daughter of a police officer and canine handler to having a whole pack of dogs of her own. I have never known Jen to have less than 4 dogs at a time, and I think she currently has 5. Each one of those dogs has taught Jen something different. So let's just jump into this chat.
It's Gilbert laying here on his dog bed next to me.
Oh, you do? Cute.
Mhm.
Yay.
And I think Norman's in here somewhere. Jacob took the other ones upstairs with strict instructions to try to keep them quiet because
Yeah.
loudmouths.
They will hear my voice and come running down, hoping for treats. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad you decided to do this with me because one of the other than your skills with my hair, one of the fun things about coming to see you is that you're always surrounded by so many dogs. And as long as I've known you, you've always had like multiple dogs. You're like the ultimate dog mom. I think of you in that way.
Oh boy.
I think right now you have 5 dogs.
Five dogs. Yeah.
Yeah.
5.
And I've not known you to have less than 4 at one time.
I think that's right. The whole time I've known you, I've had 4.
You've had 4.
Yeah.
So, did you have dogs growing up?
I've had dogs my whole life. Yeah.
Your whole life. So even as a kid.
Yeah. Dogs and cats growing up. Yeah.
You did in the same house. In the same house. And they got along great. Yeah.
I think so.
So take me back to your very first dog. What do you remember? What do you remember about that dog? And what do you think that relationship with your first dog gave you, if you can think that far back?
Yeah, that's a long way back.
A long
way back. So far back. So this question, I'm assuming you're going back to my first dog, like my childhood dog.
Yeah, I mean, that was the intention, but whatever.
Okay.
I know what your childhood dog, at least in my experience, plays such a different role than your first dog as an adult. So I'm just curious, we can just touch on, like, did you know you had an affinity and a love for dogs when you had your childhood dog?
Yeah, I did. Animals are always really important in our family, but I think I had a really unique experience with my first childhood dog. I do remember the day our dog came home to us. It was a really big deal. I was about 5 years old.
Yeah.
His name was Shep, and Shep was a purebred German Shepherd.
Mm-hmm.
He was my dad's canine. My dad was police officer.
Okay.
And Shep was the first canine in the police department in my hometown. And that dog was impressive, to say the least.
Really?
And yeah, I think that dog taught me a lot about dogs. One, training, mostly responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
I was very proud of that dog.
Aww.
I don't think I realized as a child how proud of that dog I was until later in life.
What did you mean? What do you mean by that?
That dog was such a, he was a cool dog, one, but he was just such a remarkable piece of equipment in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But also he was just so important to my dad. He was not just a dog, but he was an extension of my father. Yeah. He followed my dad around like he was another appendage. I never saw them apart from the day that dog came home. He was tiny. He was 8 weeks old, of course.
Yeah.
And
big, huge ears, I'm assuming.
Totally. But he was my dad's partner in every sense of the word.
Yeah.
And my dad's life depended on that dog, and that dog's life depended on my father. And so they were always together. And I was a little girl. I was tiny, I was 5 years old. And I remember every year until that dog and my dad retired, my dad would bring the dog in his uniform into my grade school classrooms and show him off, talk about him. That dog spoke German.
Yeah.
And, it was like such a big deal. And all the kids would get really excited and they'd
Yeah.
come and they'd pet him and they'd ask questions. And to me, it was just, oh, that's my pet. That's my dog. But I'd sit in the back of the room and I'd be like, pretty cool, you know?
Yeah.
But now when I think back on how unique that was, like I'd spend 3 or 4 days a week on the training yard with my dad. I'd watch them fire a gun and watch that dog beeline it across that
Wow.
training yard and bite the sleeve, and they'd fling the dog around and he'd run the obstacle course. And I had an experience that nobody else will ever have,
Yeah.
you know, and a responsibility and a a a love and an understanding that most people will never see. And yet that dog was our family pet. I walked him, I played with him, I played through the ball for him. He went camping with us.
Hmm.
Um, I spoke I spoke German to him. He understood my commands just as well. Um, he was just our dog.
Yeah.
And so I think that that was the blueprint for every dog after.
Yeah.
And that in and of itself was like where I started. That was really cool.
That is so
And
special because it's like we all wanted like a cool, like dad, our dads have like a cool job. And then like
yeah.
when your dad showed up,
Yeah,
you're
when
like
my dad showed off, he showed off.
yeah, totally. You're like the talk of the school. It made you super cool. Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
sweet.
The dog was the dog was not at the same time a very typical loving sweet dog though. He had a air about him that was very reserved and he was not very warm and cuddly. Um but he was special in his own sense. Having that experience of Shep and growing up with the police canine with my dad was that it showed me that what the
Yeah,
responsibility of having a dog was going to be like and
right.
how important it was. It wasn't just a pet. And growing up in my family, animals were animals. They weren't part of the family necessarily. We didn't treat them like children, they were separate.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up believing that animals didn't necessarily have feelings like people. It was the
Sure.
80s. There
Sure.
wasn't emotional intelligence like there is now.
Yeah.
So it was a very different thing. But at the same time, it was a little confusing because we did have that relationship shown to us through the police canine and the relationship between my dad and Shep.
Sure.
So I think that there was a very good example of that relationship shown to me. And I was able to understand how important it was to form a really good bond with your pet. And it led me to a life that I have now of like how important my animals are to me. And
Yeah.
I do treat them as my family. They are the most important thing in the world to me.
Yeah. You have 5 dogs right now, right?
Yeah.
When people say, wow, that's a lot. I can't believe you have 5 dogs.
Yeah.
How do you manage that? Or, or they're like, what? Um, what's the first thing that goes through your mind? How do you respond to that?
I don't I don't really I'm just like, yeah, it is a lot. But I mean, there's a lot of things that are a lot.
Yeah.
It, I don't know. My first response is usually not very nice in my head, so I just don't respond at all.
Does it like, does it punch your buttons or does it, you just like, you just don't want to justify whatever?
Yeah,
That,
because it feels like a judgment. It
yes.
feels like
Yeah.
people are like, well, geez, you have so many. And I don't think it's meant to be a judgment. I think it's meant out of curiosity when people really mean to ask questions of like clarifying questions of how do you do that? What
Right.
does your life look like? What are you doing to keep up with that? When it
Right.
comes across as like kind of judgmental,
Yeah.
but it it does come across to me as like a, um, like, what are you doing? Why would you do that? But they they really just fulfill me. I mean,
Yeah.
it does get chaotic. I do have 5, and 3 of them are border collies,
I
and they are
know.
very chaotic. They're
Yeah.
very rambunctious, and they are full of energy, but that's what we focus on. We live our whole life around them.
Yeah.
My from the morning them in the morning when I get up till we go to bed at night. I mean, we work full-time jobs, obviously,
Yeah.
so we do
You're
have.
lucky to work from home now, right?
Yes,
So,
yes, yes. And I made the decision when I was very young not to have children,
mhm.
obviously. So I'm able to focus on the dogs,
Yeah.
and that's what we do.
What do you do for the border collies? You're so good at, trying to fulfill their instinctual needs. What does that look like?
Well, I think that there is a misconception around border collies in terms of how much exercise they need.
Mhm.
And they do, in fact, need a lot of exercise, right? But they also need a lot of mental
Yeah.
stimulation. And I think that is first and foremost the most important thing for them. And because I work from home and there's a lot of people coming in and out of our house
Yeah.
that entertain them, they see, they interact with, they get a lot of mental stimulation there.
Yeah.
So that's number one for them. And because I work from home, I'm with them all day. So I get to play with them, I get to interact with them, I get to take them in and out. My husband is in and out all day long. So they are left at home alone maybe twice a week at
Yeah.
most. They I mean,
I
that's
mean, that's
pretty
super
ridiculous.
lucky. No, but it's super
Yeah.
lucky. Yeah.
We are very fortunate. So we get to take them out and do things with them all the time and
Yeah.
keep them very active.
Yeah.
And that is a privilege that most people don't get to have.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that I think is probably the number one thing.
Yeah. What does a normal day look like with you guys?
Well, getting woken up by 5 dogs is kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
So
Do they
usually
all
my
sleep in your room with you?
they do.
Yeah.
2 of them sleep in a crate because they don't sleep well and they're on and off the bed the whole time. So
Yeah.
usually my husband leaves really early and then they all are out of the crates by that point and I'll sleep in a little later. And the minute they think I'm about to wake up, they literally pounce, all of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And it's noses and tails and paws. And it's like,
It's like
Mom, you're
they've been
awake.
waiting all night for you to wake up. They're like, "Mom, do you think she's gonna wake up now? Is she gonna? What
Literally,
about now?
literally.
What about
Mhm.
now?"
I know, I know. Yeah, so it's actually kind of amazing. It's really funny, and they all have their ways about them. Each of
Yeah.
them has a different thing. Newton will come and put his nose in my neck, and Norman will come and
Yeah.
lick me, and then Hawking will just start squeaking, and then the newest one, Hilbert, he's the biggest one. He'll just come and get right
Hilbert.
on top of me. So it's a whole thing, and there's definitely a routine about every single day that they know. And it's funny how quickly everybody adapts to the routine. Hilbert's been
Yeah.
with us a month and he already knows exactly what to do every single day.
Has it only been
So
a month so far?
actually, I guess it's been a month, 2 months and about a week. But
Yeah,
yeah,
2 months.
so
Is Hilbert
yeah,
right there? Can we see him, or is he
yeah, Hilbert,
only if it's easy? Easy.
Hilbert, he's asleep.
Hilbert. Yeah, he's Hilbert. Oh,
Yeah,
he's so asleep. He's
yeah,
such a big boy. My gosh.
yeah.
How big do you think he's gonna be?
I'm guessing he's going to be about 100 pounds.
Yeah.
He just weighed in at 66, so,
Oh
and
my
they said
gosh.
he's pretty underweight.
And he's
But
probably like what do you think he's a year, maybe? Old?
yeah, just about.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then we get up, we have breakfast, and then get ready for the day and do our morning walk and our playtime and clean the yard. And it's kind of the same every single day, and
Yeah.
everybody knows it.
Yeah.
And it's funny. It's our routine,
Yeah.
but the the pack is really, really, really well adjusted.
Yeah.
They they work really well together. They know how each other's behaviors are, and if anybody deviates, the other one will step right in and tell which one what to do.
Yeah.
They have
Yeah.
their roles and they play them very, very well.
They're very good at
So
communicating with each other. I've
they are,
noticed. Yeah.
yeah. And they've integrated Hilbert in very well.
Oh,
Yeah,
Hilbert.
so
He's just, yeah, that was, I was love at first sight when I saw Hilbert. He's such a
same.
cutie.
And that's the other thing about having a large group. I think that having one dog, is pretty easy. Having two dogs is pretty easy. But once
Hmm.
you go from two to three, that's a big
Hmm.
jump. You now
Hmm.
have a pack. Anything after three, you could probably have three, you could probably have eight. I don't think that there's a big difference,
No, and that's
you know?
something that I found just from my job. Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
when there's, two, and then three is when it becomes kind of a, they kind of have to figure out the dynamic. But
Yeah.
then once you get more than that, then everybody just kind of is,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, they figure it out. They
Exactly.
keep their space if they need to. They work it all out,
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And I've gotten very comfortable understanding the dynamic between them and
Yeah.
who's doing what and why one is biting the other one and what that means and who's growling and what that growl means and if it's a correction or if someone's upset.
Yeah.
And learning that behavior has been really eye-opening, and understanding what that dynamic is has been really fun too. And
Yeah.
so I guess when someone says to me, going back to your previous question, what is that like having five dogs, or why do you have five dogs? And I feel that judgment. It it does. I know it's coming from a place of curiosity, but I also don't have time to sit there and be like, well, let me
Well,
go
this
into
is what.
all of the nuances of five dogs and what this really is.
Right.
It's quite overwhelming.
Right.
But I wish people would ask it with more sensitivity or more
Yes.
curiosity
Yeah.
instead of the, oh, well, that's a
Yeah.
lot of dogs,
Yeah.
because nobody would say that to somebody with a family of five kids.
Yeah.
It it feels it
At least to their
feels
face.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe, huh? But they are so much fun, and
Yeah.
it does feel like the most important thing that I've done with my life, I think. And I've
Oh,
owned a business, and I've moved all kinds of places, and I've done a lot of things, and I've traveled the world, but saving my dogs from rescues and from shelters and being a part of the dog world has definitely been the most fulfilling thing I've ever done.
that's so great. Hey, I agree. I bet that each dog has taught you. This might be a hard question because when I was thinking about the things that Chance taught me, there's been so many things, but I bet I have a hunch that each dog has taught you something different. Without going through each dog, is there something that stood out? Is there a lesson that you learned or something that you were taught from your dogs, um, that kind of superseded anything else? And you're smiling, so I bet there is.
um,
And which dog
there's
was it?
wow, there's a lot of things that all of my dogs have taught me.
Yeah.
And Hilbert is my 10th dog as an
Okay.
adult. Um,
He's a
and
special boy.
he is, for so many reasons.
Yeah,
I think this is a really hard question.
I know. Sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you're not. You're absolutely not sorry. This is why you do this,
I
Charlotte.
know.
Um, my favorite lyric and my favorite song that has ever been written is "Love is watching someone die."
Mm.
And the hardest part about having a dog is letting them go.
Hmm.
And my very first dog, Evie, when I had to say goodbye to her and I had to have her put down, put to sleep, when the veterinarian came to the house and took her away,
Yeah.
I realized that day that that was the greatest gift
Mm.
that I was given with my dog, was having the privilege of holding her in my arms and being able to say goodbye to her.
Yeah.
And how wonderful it was, and how peaceful death was,
Hmm.
and how fortunate I was to be able to experience that.
Right.
And I have been there for every single one of my dogs. And I am so thankful for that.
Yeah, it truly is a gift to be able to be there with them and just kind of lead them to the next life or the next step
Hmm.
or just hold their paw. In the case of Chance, I was able to hold his paw as he made his transition and support them through this moment as much as they supported us through every moment
Hmm.
of their life. Do you think the grief gets easier with the next dog or it's just different?
Hmm. I think it's different. And sometimes I think it's compounded.
Hmm.
I think it depends on the dog.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the relationship with the dog. And I think it depends on how long you've had the dog and the bond you've had with the dog. I don't think that there's any way to prepare for that grief.
Hmm.
And I don't think that there's any way to know what day of the week or time or how many years later it's going to hit you.
Right.
I think that it's just there forever and always. And that also is such a wonderful thing that you had something that will stick with you that long, that you cared for something so deeply and you were so lucky to love something so much. And I also think that all of those dogs have taught me so many lessons, but each dog has taught me something really important for the next dog,
Hmm.
something really helpful that the next dog I treat better,
Hmm.
and the next dog after I treat that dog better, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Yeah.
That by the time I get to my very last dog, that dog is going to be living a very golden life. And I'm on 10 now, and my life goal is 50. So by the time I get to my 50th dog, I can't even imagine because Hilbert's already living a pretty golden life.
Hilbert's living the dream.
I know. But, you know, I looked at Hilbert the day I brought him home and I already knew. I said, and I think I said this to you. I
Yeah.
said, this one's going to break me really bad.
Yeah, you did say
I
that.
knew that. And I'm okay with it. I think I'm okay with it.
It's a privilege to have loved, right? Isn't
Mhm.
that the saying?
Mhm. Yeah. 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 So here's to all the broken hearts. I feel very fortunate because I had a lot of people coming in after this last loss who sat with me as I cut their hair, cried. You were
Yeah.
one of them.
Yep.
Lots of crying haircuts.
Yep.
And we shall go on. You know?
I know you mentioned you are uncomfortable with the term soul dog, and
Hmm.
I'm so curious about that. And because to me, a soul dog is, one that I have not had multiple dogs, so I don't have that
Hmm.
experience. But to me, Chance was my soul dog. He came into my life when I needed something the most. He had a profound impact. He, all the things. Is there a dog that stands out to you? I know that's like comparing children, and we're not supposed to do that, but is
I
there a
know.
dog? Is there a
I
dog?
know.
But I think people secretly do.
Yeah.
Is there a dog that stands out above the rest?
Yeah. I think that's hard. I People ask me that question a lot, and I don't it's not that I understand the term.
Yeah.
I do, and I choose not to use it because I of my intention to have so many dogs.
Yeah.
And how would I know that?
Right.
Because I haven't met them all yet. There's a whole
Mm,
long list coming my way,
yeah.
you know? Um, and I don't want to play favorites.
Yeah.
I don't know who is coming into my future. I don't know what my future holds,
Right.
and I don't want to put that limitation on it,
Right.
but I there are 2 dogs that have had profound impacts on me, and they were both big parts of my life. Einstein and Vinny,
Mhm.
my last 2 dogs, not my last 2 dogs that were with me, but Einstein, who you knew, was
Yeah.
German Shepherd mix, and he spent the most amount of time with me going to work,
Yeah. He was your
and we
shock
were
dog.
very,
Yeah.
very he was my shock dog. We were very, very bonded. He
Yeah.
was very connected to me. We had a very deep understanding of each other, and it was a really hard loss.
Yeah.
Um, and he was with us for 12 years.
Mhm.
And then Finny, who we last year, was almost 17 years old, and
Yeah.
that was one of the greatest losses of our lives.
Yeah.
And 17 years. Sorry.
It's okay, honey. It's okay. It's a huge, long, formative part of your life. 17 years is, I always say, Chance was 17 and a half when he passed, and I always say he just graduated early and went to college.
Yeah. It's there is probably nobody or anything, even my husband, that kn- was as knew me as well as that dog who
Yeah.
always was with me, right? I
Now I'm gonna
he
cry.
I know, because my husband didn't follow me into the bathroom and stay with me every time I took a shower and stood there and heard every phone call and went with me to work and knew when I was feeling a certain way and laid with me when I was sick and all of those private moments,
Yeah.
that is such a deep connection that you have with an animal. And that dog meant so much to me that when he left, I felt such despair that
Yeah.
I was afraid. And I don't, I have never felt grief the way I felt grief that after losing him.
Yeah.
And my life has changed in ways that I cannot explain. Um, it is so different today than it was last year,
Yeah.
both spiritually, physically, emotionally, all all things.
Yeah. And you think
He
you think he's
he
he's he has something to do with that?
I yeah,
Because I feel the same
if
with Chance. Yeah.
yeah, it definitely marked a moment in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was drastic change.
Yeah.
So I I choose not to use the term soul dog, but Vinny was definitely one of the most important dogs that I have ever met
Yeah.
and will have had, I think. I mean, our walls are littered with pictures of him.
I was just gonna say Annie was a model.
He was a model.
Didn't he
He
actually
was
do
a
some
model.
print work? Didn't he do some?
He did. He was on Puppy Chow in
Yes, he
I won't say
was.
the brand name, but he was on dog food in Mexico, and every time we
Yep.
would go down to Mexico, we'd go to the supermarket so we could see him, and we have it framed in the house. And
That's so cute.
yeah,
That's like what a way to memorialize him.
I know. He was an actual child star.
He really was a child star.
I know. He was so cute.
He
He
was
never met a
really
camera he didn't
cute.
like.
He was so photogenic, that one.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
It's a hard loss, that dog.
Yeah.
Up until the day he went, he would see a camera and he'd get into position. So
He loved what he did.
yeah, yeah. Well,
So sweet. He brought joy that way.
yeah, yeah.
Do you think, there's the who rescued who saying.
Mhm.
Do you think that dogs, do you think your dogs choose you, or as much as you choose them? And if so, what does that say about what they saw in you? I mean, that doesn't mean like they initially chose you, although I do think on a spiritual level, yes. But, they choose to love you and they choose to think that you're the bee's knees
Yeah.
and
That
connect with
has
you. Yeah,
yeah. That has so many different layers to that
I know.
question. There's the spiritual layer, like what agreements did we all have before we came to this
Right.
realm, to this earth as a physical being? I think that there is some kind of connection there that
Yeah,
we do have agreements with them to
yeah,
some degree. Um, I think that there's the whole element of when you live in a space with them too. And if there's multiple dogs and multiple humans in one space, definitely there's dogs that choose one human over the other, or one dog, or one, you know,
yeah,
other creature that they
yeah.
bond more with, like our little girl Hawking, she is obsessed with our other border collie Norman. She thinks he's her
Yeah,
sheep. So
yeah,
there's different like I think attachments that they make.
yeah,
Um I don't know. I think that it's whatever we need to believe in the moment to connect with our animals.
yeah,
I don't really have a I'm more with you on the whole spiritual element because I think honestly, every one of my dogs that I've had, there has been it has felt like
yeah.
there's been a reason that they have been with me for that time.
Yes, I
Yeah,
agree. Like
yeah,
there's just that gut hit.
yeah, yeah. And some they're stronger than others. Like
Yeah,
we've had a couple dogs where they're meant to be with us just to be with us to be safe and taken care of and have a good
yeah,
home.
yeah.
They're good animals.
I kind of asked this, but of everything that your dogs taught you, what is the most enduring thing that you've learned?
I actually am not very good at this, but I would probably say there's two things. One is to try to stay in the moment and to be more grateful for the things that I'm usually not grateful for.
Yeah,
Like the fact that I have to do the small chores,
yeah,
like feeding them
yeah,
and washing their dog bowls and sweeping up the dog hair every
yeah,
single day. Because last year, after we lost Vinny, he got really sick for 6 months
yeah.
and it was very, very difficult. And now, when my dogs are eating because they're healthy and I get to clean their dog bowls, I'm really
Mm,
grateful that they're eating and they're healthy.
yeah.
And every day when I have to sweep up Hilbert's ungodly amounts of German Shepherd fluff,
He's got so much hair.
he has so much
He has
fur.
so much fur.
I have never seen this much dog fur come off a dog. I think, you know what this means? I have a healthy dog running around
Yeah,
leaving dog fur on my floor. I
yeah,
don't have any sick dogs. I
yeah,
have a very healthy pack of dogs. There is nobody that is causing any issues. There's nobody that is, unhealthy or having any problems. I
yeah,
am just lucky that I just get to have a normal day.
yeah.
And that is something that every time I'm frustrated that I have to pull out the vacuum cleaner and vacuum up some fluff or pick up the eaten dog toys that I'm so excited
Mm-hmm.
to buy them
Mm-hmm.
that they destroy within five
In two
minutes. I think,
seconds.
you
Yeah,
know what? They are happy that they got to eat the dog toys.
yeah,
And that is something that I think I remind myself of now probably 3 or 4 times a day. And I didn't do that before we lost Finny, and now I do that
Mm.
a lot more.
Mhm.
Yeah. There's
So,
no medications. There's no like difficulties. It's a healthy household.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he helped you find the gratitude and the joy and kind of like the
Hmm.
mundane everyday things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was a really big lesson too. It's easy to get caught up in that, like, ugh, oh my gosh, I have to go out and do this right now, and I really don't want to, but oh my gosh, you know what? I'm gonna do it because everybody's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's just something that we could all be better at, but
I know.
it's easy to forget it just in the normal, like, day-to-day life stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jen. I'm so grateful that you took the time to share your stories with us. I know how important those dogs
Thanks.
are, and I am lucky enough to know your pups and to get to see them once a month and get to love them a little bit, and they're so lucky to have you.
Thanks. See you next time.
If you enjoyed this conversation, I'd love it if you'd follow the show, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who loves dogs. You can find links to everything we talked about today in the show notes, and I'd love to connect with you on Instagram at BaruPup. If you have a story you'd like to share, you can email me at charlotte@thebaru.com. Thanks for listening to The Baru, and let's chat soon.